The star. The world stretched out for miles in all directions from the broken top of the old observatory. There was no ceiling, and the crumbly stone walls formed a low ring that encircled the dilapidated platform. A brisk wind blew through Anon's hair as he stood face to face with himself. "It's you," his doppelganger said with a look of shock equal to Anon's. Who are you?" Anon asked. "My name is Aluma. I am the Emperor's daughter," the doppelganger responded. "I don't understand." With a wave of his wand, the man who was the mirror image of Anon transformed into the young woman with jet black hair and jade eyes. "Who are you?" she asked. Anon was shocked. I am the man without a shadow." The young woman gasped. "How strange," she said, looking at Anon in wonder. "I don't understand," Anon said. "You looked exactly like me. Is this some kind of alchemy? I've never even met you before." "I've had this ability for as long as I can remember," she said. "To mirror the person you're looking at?" "No, to transform into a man. The man that you saw, the one that looks just like you." "But why would you be able to transform into me?" "I assure you I am just as confused as you are. Until today I wasn't even sure if the legend about the man without a shadow was real. I never for a moment thought he would look exactly like the man that I can transform into." "This ability that you have, do your parents know about it?" "Of course not. Do you know what my father would say if he found out I could change into a man? He would probably lock me away for the rest of my life out of shame." "So the man who was seen sneaking out of your window the night disappeared, that was you?" "That damn servant, he told everybody, didn't he?" "The entire kingdom is being overturned in search of you. You know your parents think you were kidnapped, right? Your father had me tortured and sentenced to death because they thought I did it." "Sounds like my father," she said. "What are you doing up here, anyway?" Aluma turned her back to Anon and walked to the edge of the platform. He joined her and looked out over the twilight-lit world. "I needed to understand," she said. "Hermes Trismegistus told me to come here." "Needed to understand what?" "Why I am the way I am." "You mean being able to turn into a man?" "That's part of it. But mainly I wanted to know why I have all these depraved urges, why I have all these desires that always end up ruining my life." Anon could see the lights of the city twinkling in the distance. "My whole life I've always felt like something was missing. I felt like deep down I had this giant hole in me that nothing could fill. At this point, I'd given up on ever healing it. But I at least wanted to understand why it's here. I don't know. I guess I wanted some catharsis or something before I take my final vows tomorrow." "So you plan on returning?" I mean, what else am I supposed to do? Become a hermit in the mountains?" "Well, did you find any answers up here?" "Not like I expected. I don't know what I expected, but I've been up here for 3 days, and the only thing I figured out is that I overthink everything. But I guess I already knew that. How did you find me, anyway?" "Hermes, I went to see him, too." "Figures," she said. "That man may live in a hut in the middle of nowhere, but he cooks the best soup." It was good. "So aren't you surprised? Aren't you supposed to bring light back to the realm or something?" Aluma asked. "Something like that," Anon replied, preoccupied rummaging through the pile of debris that littered the floor of the platform. "Hey, I think this is an old telescope," he said, brushing the dust off the large cracked lens. The looking glass. Yes, it was the largest telescope in the realm before it was destroyed in the storm. We learned about it in school. "Maybe I can put it back together," he said, joking. "I want to look at that star up there." "Don't be ridiculous. That was one of the most sophisticated pieces of equipment ever built before it was destroyed," Aluma said. "However, there is something that we can do with it. Here, watch." Aluma knelt over the lens. She held out her hands and mumbled a few words that Anon did not recognize. All of a sudden the lens began to glow with an inner light, An intricate hologram depicting star systems and galaxies appeared above it. The looking glass was made to record everything it saw so the astrologers could go back and track the movements of the stars, Illuma said. See that red one there? That's Arcticus. That's the one you wanted to look at. It's beautiful, Anon said. It's part of the constellation Boots, the herdsman. The mention of the constellation reminded Anon of something the crazy man in the hanging yard said. Sometimes you have to look at things upside down to get the answers you seek. So this records everything it sees, Anon asked, gesturing to the lens. Yes, isn't it fascinating? I think I might have an idea. What? Here, step back. Illuma retreated, and the hologram above the lens faded. Anon got his fingers underneath the giant piece of glass, pulled it up on its side, and then laid it back down gently as he could on the opposing face. Now try it, he said, brushing off a thick layer of dust with his sleeve. I don't understand, Illuma said. You said it records everything it sees, right? Well, light passes through it both ways. Maybe it recorded what happened here in the tower on the night that the sun and the moon disappeared. You're brilliant, Illuma said, jumping up and giving Anon a big hug. Okay, let's see. She knelt over the lens again and mumbled the same strange words once again. The lens started glowing, but instead of star systems, the projection showed an image of the top floor of the observatory, the very floor they were on now. It worked. This is amazing. Okay, it will take me a second to find the right night, she said. Images of robed men zoomed back and forth through the projection, fiddling with dials and occasionally putting their eye up to the telescope. Illuma spread through time until the projection went black. Oops, I went a little too far. Let me back up here. This should be the last night the looking glass was operational. There didn't appear to be anyone in the observatory. Rows of shiny brass instruments lined the walls, reflecting flashes of light coming from the growing storm. The sound of thunder came through the projection, crackly and distorted with age. Illuma and Anon watched, but no one appeared. Here, let me speed it up a little bit. Wait, Anon said. I think I heard something. Illuma leaned in a little closer. The door to the stairwell swung open, and the Emperor appeared, looking much younger and more virile than Anon had seen him. That's my father, Illuma said. What's he doing there? The projected image of the Emperor paced back and forth. He looked anxious. After a while, more footsteps could be heard coming up the stairwell. The door burst open and the Hierophant stepped into view. Did you bring the boy? The Emperor asked. He's right here, the Hierophant said, yanking a struggling boy into the observatory and shutting the door. Good, the Emperor said. The boy broke free from the Hierophant's grasp and ran to the door, but the Hierophant grabbed him before he could escape down the stairs. Restrain that child, the Emperor yelled. The Hierophant dragged the boy over to a wheeled cart and threw him on top of it, sending the instruments that had been there clattering to the floor. With one hand he held the boy down, and with the other he attempted to free a length of rope he had under his robe. Could I get a little help over here? The Hierophant said, struggling. The Emperor gave an exasperated sigh and held the boy's wrist while the Hierophant tied him to the cart. What the hell are they doing? Illuma asked. Anon sat transfixed. Are you sure this is going to work? The Emperor asked after the boy had been thoroughly bound. I have consulted the ancient text. I am quite certain it will work, the Hierophant said. However, it is unlikely that the boy will survive the procedure. Are you getting soft on me too, bubbliness? You know I can replace you just like Hermes. No, Your Majesty. I was just simply stating the risk involved. I know the risk, the Emperor shouted. Now get to work. Who knows when we'll get another storm like this? The Hierophant conjured a bright ball of light and positioned it above the boy's head so that his shadow was stretched out long beneath his feet. The Hierophant then grabbed a hold of the looking glass and focused its eyepiece exactly where the boy's shadow met his feet. Then he produced a small glass jar from his robe. uncorked it, and placed it on the opposite end of the table, where the shadow of the boy was projected. "The preparations are ready, your Majesty," he said, bowing. "Good," the Emperor said. "Now open the observation window." The Hierophant went over to the wall and grabbed a hold of the large crank. Using both hands, he rotated the gear, and the clamorous piece of machinery could be heard moving overhead. As the observation window opened, sheets of rain began to fall into the observatory, and a gust of wind sent papers fluttering around the room. "Do it!" the Emperor yelled above the storm. "Do it now!" The Hierophant stood over the boy with arms outstretched. He closed his eyes and mumbled a long string of words. With a final incantation, he brought his hands together. A blinding flash filled the room, accompanied by a loud crack. Then the projection went dark. What was that?" Anon asked. "Shh," Aluma said. "It's still going." The lens no longer projected images, but the sound of the storm could still be heard raging. After a moment they heard the man coughing. "Are you okay, your Majesty?" the voice of the Hierophant said. "Yes, you fool, I'm fine," the Emperor responded. "Did it work? Did the procedure work?" "Yes, your Majesty. Here." The boy's shadow. "Take it. When you return to the castle, empty it into the Empress's stomach while she sleeps. Within a month she should show signs of being with child." "You better be right," the Emperor said. "What happened to the boy?" "I'm afraid he's disappeared, your Majesty." After that, all sound from the recording stopped. "I can't believe it," Aluma whispered. "I'm your shadow. No wonder I'm so messed up. You're Mr. Perfect Hero, and I'm the royal fuck-up. Aluma, I can't believe he never told me. After everything he's put me through, he's not even my real father. I'm not even a real girl. I'm just some Acamil shadow creation," she said, running to the edge of the tower. From the bottom of her lungs, Aluma let out a primal wail, screaming into the vast expanse that stretched out below her. Anon took a seat on the block of stone and waited. She stood on the edge of the tower for a long time. Neither of them said anything. Eventually, Aluma came over to Anon. "Come on, get up," she said. "I have an idea."